Now let's bring in House Minority Whip Steve Scalise. Sir, what's your reaction? Do you support the U.S. truckers if they got this thing going?
Sure do, Stuart. In fact, if you look at what's happening there's a movement all across this country. You saw it in Virginia, where voters of all parties said, we want to take our freedoms back. And they took their state back by electing Youngkin as governor. And look, what the truckers are doing is an example of what's happening in a lot of other places. But to see the reaction from the left is very telling. How they were okay with embracing people who were burning down cities and setting up sites to go fund people who were being arrested for violence in the streets over the summer a year and a half ago. But then you got truckers just expressing freedom, and then GoFundMe tries to go and deceive people by taking the money and trying to send it somewhere else.
It seems to me, forgive me for using the European expression, the class, but there seems to be a class distinction in what's going on now with these rules and regulations. The elites make the rules and break them. Working people, like truckers, who have to live with these mandates, are protesting against them. I mean, there's a class divide in America at the moment, which I'm surprised to see.
Yeah, and there's examples of this hypocrisy everywhere you go. We all watched the NFC championship game last week, where you had the governor of California who's telling kids in school that they can't go into the classroom without a mask or they're going to kill everybody. He's photographed without a mask. The mayor of San Francisco, the mayor of LA. And they're putting these edicts on people that they themselves aren't living by. So it shows you it's not about medical science. It's all about political science, and people are fed up with it, as they should be.
There are a lot of people I can see just walking away from masks and all the rest of it. Congressman, you, along with colleagues Comer and Jordan in the House, calling on scientists who were privately supportive of the lab leak theory, the Wuhan lab theory of a leak. You want them to stand up in Congress under oath? What would the scientists tell you?
What we found out, and we uncovered this by trying to get some more facts about the origins of COVID. Jamie Comer with the Oversight Committee, Jim Jordan with the Judiciary Committee, and myself have all been trying to get answers on the origin of COVID. And they recently uncovered some emails that showed that some of Dr. Fauci's top advisors were actually emailing him, telling him they thought that COVID might have originated in the Wuhan lab, which, by the way, many other scientists have said probably did happen. Pelosi, for whatever reason, won't even hold a hearing on this. And so as we were uncovering this, there was an email from Dr. Fauci that basically said, stop emailing, let's do a phone call. They did the phone call. We don't know what was said on that call because we don't have any records of it. And then within days, all of those scientists changed their tune and started calling it a conspiracy theory and things like that to suggest it might have started in the lab in Wuhan. And so it begs the question, what happened on that phone call that changed these scientists' opinions that maybe it did in fact start in the lab after that phone conversation that we were not privy to? I think they ought to come and testify and tell us what happened. We heard some of them got millions of dollars in federal grants after they changed their tune. That's alarming, by the way. If it's true, we want to find that out. We want to get the facts out.
Speaker Pelosi will not allow hearings into this?
No, we've been calling for over a year for hearings on the origin of COVID, both in the committee that I'm on, in the committee Jim Jordan is the lead Republican on, and the committee Comer's on. And she refuses to have a hearing on any of that, when many, many scientists across the political spectrum have said, number one, if you study the genome structure of COVID, it was not originated from a bat to an animal to a human. It probably was manipulated in a lab in Wuhan.
And it was Speaker Pelosi who last week told American athletes in Beijing, shut up, don't say anything. That's not great.
Why are they covering for China? We want to find out these facts, and we're going to get them one way or another.
Congressman, thank you very much for being here. Always appreciate it.
Very much, Stuart.
Yes, sir.